You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after these words from our sponsors. And now for today's headline story, the formal opening of the new sub-aquatic factory and company town by Pelagitech, 15 miles off the southwestern coast of Vestalin. As Vestalin itself continues to be racked by conflict with the Tyrant Commonwealth, the Pelagitech Corporation, itself composed of several smaller splinter companies and all concerned with submersible and undersea-based technologies and innovations, has completely relocated all its factories from Varellan to a new custom-designed emplacement on the sea floor. Significant concerns have been raised about this move, especially as the governing body of Pelagitech have declared themselves a sovereign entity unto themselves, and the change from fiat currency to a corporate scrip for its employees has resulted in several legal challenges being raised by sapient rights organizations. The biggest concern, however, is that Pelagitech are the biggest manufacturers of military submersibles and munitions on Sanctaris, and as well as the implications this will surely have on the ongoing situation between Vestalin and the Tyrant Commonwealth, it also means that the new Pelagitech settlement has an extremely well-equipped private navy. This is on top of further concerns that its location, as well as the entirely Nortolan governing board and employee base, may be signs of an emerging ethno-state beyond the reach of Horizon Council auditors and peacekeeping forces. While this is being hailed as a triumph by many in the corporate sphere, the rest of the world will doubtless be watching the unfolding situation with great interest. Coming next, we join our zoological correspondent Alphakeen Beck, who is on location in Horizon Zoo with the new litter of Garamek kittens that have just been born there, the first successful captive breeding of these endangered and beautiful creatures. Over to you, Beck.
Hi everybody, it's Mikey. We're on episode 12 of The Doom That Came to Sanctaris. I am here with my team of players, or their team of players. I don't know, we're not very antagonistic. Our team of players. And I'd like them to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their characters. The first person to go, decide what they want to tell us, and if you can continue it on as a theme, that'll be even better. So we'll start with the most whimsical of us, Adam.
Hello, my name is Adam, and I'm playing Rakeo Balazari, Kalanat priest of the Church of Neridia. Rakeo is about to go down, deeper and down into a deep, dark dungeon tomb. He's fine with this because it's going to be pitch black, and that is how Rakeo spends his entire life, seeing things only by the glory of his goddess and the power of his force-given vision. Everybody else, however, are probably going to have a less fun time.
Ed, tell us a bit about your character and why you're looking forward to a less fun time as you approach the tomb.
I'm playing a character called Captain Carter Heek. He is a Tynan, which means he's a beaver person, and an engineer for an organization known as the Shadow Vanguard, who spend their time in the shadow. But we don't mean metaphorical shadow as in lurking. We mean literally, they find themselves in dark places fixing things that don't work. Yes, I play a beaver person who fixes dams. And he's fine with it. I mean, that's what torches are for. And also, there's probably something that needs fixing. He's spent most of his childhood and most of his adult life, if not in a very dark place with lots and lots of oil, which is what he prefers, than in bright lights being illuminated because he has the prettiest teeth.
Lou, how are you feeling after that 100% perfect landing?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty damn good, to be perfectly honest. You know, that is the best landing I have ever done. The only landing I've ever done, but we're all here and the ship might take off again, so I'm feeling pretty damn smug. But yeah, Kuro's here. Kuro's got their backpack on, and they're looking forward to going deeper underground.
And finally, Ross.
Hello.
How are you feeling about the upcoming adventure?
Well, okay, I'm Ross. I'm playing Savriel Sai, who is a soldier sharpshooter, a Nortolan who doesn't mind it too much if it's dark down there. Dark is preferable to bright, in Savriel's opinion. But beyond that, I hope there's treasure. I hope we get rich. I mean, I know that's not why we're here, but...
The exact opposite of why we're here.
Indeed.
Get back.
We might find something else. We can swapsies, 1 for 1. We can do a trade.
The Doom That Came to Sanctaris Season 2. What has Savriel nicked now?
What has it got in its pockets is?
The Doom that went back to Sanctaris.
Sigh, precious Horizon.
Look, stealing things has so far only gone wrong once this story.
Yeah, we need to do it a few more times to get a sample with which to make a hypothesis.
Yeah, we don't have enough data to draw an adequate conclusion.
Yeah.
Look, we just don't steal that thing.
Spot the data scientists on the call.
Okay. The blackened stone waste lies silent around you. The airship Aurora rests a short distance behind, its hull dusted with ash. Before you lies the tomb. The tomb stands like a wound on the landscape, half buried in the side of a craggy hill where fire once carved the world to bone. It's ancient, impossibly old, and vast, its weathered stone facade cracked by time and pressure. Every inch of its face bears etchings of a script you don't recognize, curling patterns like vines or veins or scars. The main door are monolithic slabs, at least 3 times your height. That's 3 times everybody's height but you, Captain Higg. Carved into their surface. I just wanted to be clear.
That makes sense.
I didn't want Ed thinking they were about 9 feet tall. They're big. Wait a minute, I was doing something. Yeah. Carved deep into their surface is a single unblinking symbol. A crest of thorns wrapped around an inverted flame. The sigil is jagged and cruel. Though no wind stirs, motes of ash drift past it as if drawn to something inside it, unseen. The very air shifts around you, heavy with presence of memory. It's a stillness, and the land itself seems to be holding its breath. So you're probably about medium range from the doors at the moment. They're big, and you can quite clearly see the sigil on both doors.
Does the sigil look eerily familiar?
Not familiar, so to speak. I mean, you know the logo of the Thorncrest organization, and if, say, you designed that thousands of years ago, and then the marketing department tried to change it every few years, you can see where there might be a connection.
But just as much, it's reasonable to assume that it's become a fairly, like the fleur-de-lis in the real world, it's become a not an uncommon symbol.
It's a logo, so it is protected. So there aren't many things that are exactly like it. This looks like the Thorncrest organization would probably have grounds to sue for breaking of their copyright.
Is it like the Pepsi logo, where it's changed and changed over the decades, but it's still recognisably the Pepsi logo?
Exactly. I mean, you could argue it is very similar to the Thorncrest one, but it might be that you're just seeing, like, people when they need to see faces in something. It might be that that is what it's a circle of thorns. It might not be.
Well, we are here. Now we need to get it open. I fear, unless there is some simple mechanism, I will not be much use to you here in getting these doors open. I will also, I'm afraid, not even be a great deal of use in keeping watch while the doors are open. I hope to prove my worth to this endeavour when we are down there and have made it to the tomb, which is our destination, putting back this prism and sealing this force in. But as to our method of ingress, I leave to yourselves.
How did they get in last time?
We look to Voss.
We didn't come in this way. We dug down 3 days, found a roof, cracked through.
He is already unpacking his tools at this point while everyone else is talking, and also says, and starts describing loudly the actual door itself, just like almost as like a meditative. Can anyone see anything that's unusual about the door that I might miss? Something that might be brighter or sharper, or I like it while he's doing that, one of his ears twitches and he pulls out like a little kind of horn and he's giving it a kind of a tweak, and he's slowly but surely looking for a mechanism.
I'd say you're at medium range at the moment, so if you want to move any closer, you probably have a better chance of doing lore or perception checks.
Okay, I will cautiously move closer. Is there anything unusual about the ground in front of the door?
Roll me a perception check. Your difficulty is ranged based, so it's going to be an easy check if you're standing right next to the door, or if you're at short range, it's going to be a 2 dice medium check. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go for perception at range. Can I use any of my tools?
What sort of tools have you got? Describe a tool that you might have that could be of use.
Strangely, binoculars pointed at the ground, because then I'll get more and more detail. I might also have some sort of chemical dust that flashes if there's any kind of leaks or anything that's dangerous, if you see what I mean.
Might need to get closer to use that, though, I think.
Yeah, just like an initial appraisal of... In fact, because this is entirely with the character, he's like, trusty clipboard. Pulls out a clipboard and, like, methodically quarters it with surveying glasses, like the area before approaching.
You can have a boost for that. It'll be a normal check. So 2 dice with a boost.
3 successes and 2 threat.
Okay. For your threat, I'm just going to give you some stress because it is quite a foreboding place. It's not a lot of physical stress, but more you are feeling a little bit anxious. You've been in plenty of tombs, but this is giving you a little bit of heebie-jeebies. But for 3 successes, yeah, you can see that there are faint tracks in the ash patterns around the door, around the base. None of them go in, but they come from either side of the hill. And with 3 successes, I'm quite happy to tell you that there have been Vreen here recently.
Vreen tracks, I think. It's going to make it easier to figure out the opening mechanism, though. And I, head towards the door, confident that I'm not about to suddenly walk into a pit trap.
I would also like to try and find tracks or that sort of thing. I have an expert tracker, so...
Yep, you can do that too. What I would say is you don't get the boost, but get anything you might get with your tracking skills.
I think expert tracker just removes setbacks.
Oh, well, you don't have any setbacks on this one.
This is just a perception check, then.
Survival for tracking.
Oh, okay. 2 failure.
Okay, you are looking in entirely the wrong direction.
Yep.
So...
I can tell there was an archaeological dig here recently.
You're just watching the steps from behind you. Yeah, it's just your own feet. No, not quite. You don't notice anything because there's no there's no negative on this. So, Ed, you might start making your way forward.
As I look at my colleague who's looking in the wrong place, he makes a whistling sound by sucking through his teeth and points at the tracks.
Yeah, there is a
this
good
is
number.
how they went in.
No, that's the thing. That none of the tracks actually go into the thing. They go past it, but none of them go inside. It looks like the doors haven't opened, but almost like sentried. You know, you're seeing them walking past quite frequently on a set route.
Could I work out how long it takes them to complete the circuit? And when was the last time they came by?
Yeah, probably with a survival check, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an average check on this one because it's quite a complicated thing to do, and I'd like to flip a dark side point. 2 reasons. One, I'd quite like you guys to have some light side points before you go in here, and secondly, this will kind of denote how long it takes to...
So does that move it up to a purple and a red?
A purple and a red, that's right.
So that's 1 success in total.
I'm really pleased. Excellent. The reason I did that dark side in, by the way, is because it could have been that the time they come past is right now. So we wanted to give them that opportunity to actually have something on there. So yeah, excellent. 1 success. From looking at the indentations of the tracks and the fact that there's very little in the way of breeze, but a small amount of erosion of all the tracks over time, you work out they probably come past here twice a day. Not very frequently, but looking at the amount of tracks on there, you can tell that, yes, there's a lot of people here. There are probably only 4 people who've done it a lot.
Can I get, how long we've got before they come round again?
You've probably got about 4 hours, thereabouts. Last set of tracks was about 6 hours ago.
Yeah, probably don't want to be hanging around here too long. We've got a few hours, maybe, before they come back round again.
It shouldn't take that long.
Luckily, it's not that many of them.
If we have to, we do have a shortcut. And he pats at a suspicious-looking package, lays out what looks like some sort of thick resin, and then some sort of oil, sprays the oil. It's some sort of insect byproduct that they'll have harvested. And then starts putting in probes, and I begin to try and figure out where there is a lock to work at.
Ed, just the thing, that insect repellent is not just an insect repellent, it's an insect repellent, lubricant, mayonnaise, and all manner of different things. It's a panacea of the engineering community.
It's this world's WD-40.
Yeah, exactly. You set down and try and look for a lock. It is a very intricate door. The vines from the thorns go all over, and behind it there is very faint iconography that looks like they've maybe carved this sigil into a previously already carved door, but you can't really tell. It is really faint. as to what was going on without maybe a lore roll or something like that. It's going to take you a while because there are nooks and crannies all over the place and there's no real obvious keyhole. So I'll come back to you in a second.
He is going to say to everyone else, does anyone know the story behind this? Sometimes stories are as important as cogs.
Lou, there's probably only, I would say, 4 people around there. They look bigger than you would expect. Or at least 3 of them do. 3 of them look like the larger Farine that you saw previously. One of them is a lot smaller. And it's quiet. It's very quiet around here. There's very little in the way of wind. You can hear the aurora ticking over as it cools, but everything else is just your breaths.
Cool, well, I'll continue to keep an eye out.
Adam, you can, if you wish, roll a discipline or a vigilance check as you get closer to the door.
Okay.
I'll tell you the reason why. The reason why you're able to roll this is because you are linked to the Force.
Am I able to include my Force dice in this as well, then?
Yes.
And difficulties 2 purple as usual?
Difficulty is 2 on this average check.
3 advantage and a light side point, which I'm allowed to spend, I will spend to make a success. So that'll be a success and 3 advantage.
Okay. As you get closer to the stone, it's weird. There's a feeling of... This is quite a warm area. You're in a desert and the temperatures are quite warm. But you feel a coldness emanating from the door and unmistakably a presence. Something stirring behind the stone, like a pressure almost. Faint but waiting. As you get closer as well to the tomb, you feel that the etchings that were put behind the sigil of Thorncrest have a stronger dip into the Force. It's like the Force congregates around these etchings, like the door has been imbued in some way with some form of Force power. As you can sense it, you can see a little bit clearer what the writing was, because the writing, the etching on it is the bit that kind of glows to you. But it isn't something you can really read. It looks like over time this has been worn away. So whatever power it had is really fleeting and really, really weak. Certainly not doing as well as it did when this door was originally put up.
Can I try to focus in on that and get a feeling for, although I can't read the language, can I try to sense the intent behind it using my psychometry style?
No, you don't even need to do that. You had 3 advantages. I can give you that for the advantages. Yeah, you can't read the writing, but you get a feeling from it. Everything up until now has given you the idea that this is a tomb. This is a prison. It's not. This is a temple. This is something that was a place of reverence that has been turned into a place of restriction, a place that they ended a regime. The initial usage of this thing was not to entomb anybody. It was a celebration.
Which fits in with the visions that I had on the airship as well, doesn't it? So I think as Heek is doing his Heekishness with his various probes and sprays and unguents and devices at the door, I think Rakayo, who has been struggling through the sand, glad that the wind has dropped, so at least he's not also having to fight against that, but he is dragging his leg in the sand, leaning heavily on his staff and walking carefully until he gets to the slightly firmer ground in front of the door. And he raises his hand and takes a few seconds, and then, just out of nowhere while Heek is doing his thing, says, "There is writing here, faded, but I can sense the intent. There is generations of life and death, and desire and will imprinted in this place. It is now a prison, but it wasn't always. This used to be a temple, a place of worship and celebration and abasement, a religious focus for a whole community, a whole people. And then it changed. The intention changed. I sense anger and resilience, a resolute defiance, a willingness to sacrifice. My friends, I spoke before of the visions the goddess granted me, of how the therein were once subjugated by this force, this Korrath, and turned against him, giving of themselves to bind him away forever. That is the story the door tells. Weathered though now. Time and the elements have not been kind to this place, but the story is still contained within the bones. Rock remembers, you see. We will need to be even more careful going in here. There may be some Vreen who are still bound to the old ways of servitude. There may well be some Vreen who have bound themselves to the revolution against this Korrath who claimed their people. We must tread carefully. Be on your guard, my friends. We are stepping into the past.
Everybody who wants to make me a perception check, please. It's 3 dice.
2 success for me, somehow.
Excellent. No, that makes sense.
I suspect I'm still attuned to what's going on here. My senses are wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 3 successes for me as well.
I get a threat.
Okay.
I got 1 success and 2 threat.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to hit you with more stress. You'll see why in a second. After Callanet finishes his speech, there's a moment when you can't help but feel the world feels empty, and you feel alone in this massive desert miles away from anything. You glance back at the door, and as you do, your perception shifts. No movement, no warning. Suddenly, he's there. Avreen. Now, all of those that passed kind of see him kind of slowly appear and able to react to him. And it is like a magic eye painting. He doesn't walk into view. He's not there, but then suddenly the background is him. And he kind of, without anything changing, there is Avreen there. Those of you who got any sort of a threat, you weren't expecting this. You saw it. That was a success. Absolutely fantastic. You saw it, but yeah, I'm going to take some stress from the shock of suddenly there being a Vreen appearing.
Heek is too focused on the door, aren't you?
I think Heek was actually literally trying to stick a probe into this creature's eye when it's lying like he's got a stake in his leg.
He's at short range from the people who moved away, so he's basically in the middle of you or him. And so yourselves and the rest of the party, because you're near the door.
Instead, what's literally happening is Heek's gone into his pack and he's concentrating instead on, I have if you will permit me, I have this tiny ant-like thing that I'm in the process of tying some string to, and I'm about to drop into to follow the path. It's an alien ant. It's not really it's a bit more horrible and a bit more weird. But I'm so kind of focused on my little cutscene where they've spent ages animating the ant that I do not see this thing behind me at all.
He's tall for Avreen, with a wiry frame, and is cloaked in a wind-worn fabric and armor made of fossilized bone. At first, your mind kind of rejects that he's there, because he's a hidden shape in a mural that's only visible when your eyes stop trying to see it. But now you see him, he's unmistakably Avreen, standing silently before you, as if set in stone. He doesn't walk into view, he simply is. He's not conjured or imagined, he's revealed. And he says nothing. And there's a second or so where you can't help but not, what the criff, there's a thing there. And then all of you hear his voice. Not through moving his lips or anything like that, but in your mind, not spoken, but impressed upon into your thoughts, like he has just said something, rather than he is saying something. It's like it's not even hitting your short-term memory, it's already being put into your long-term. He carries a hush of deep time, the wind sighing through long dead worlds. You have returned the heart.
I think Rakeo steps forward to stand before this Vreen. And as he focuses on a response, I would also like to use sense to sense the current emotional state of him as I'm beginning to speak. Do you want to roll that first as I'm...
Yeah, roll it first and then you can get what his intentions are going to be and I'll go.
Oh, that is 2 dark side pips.
Okay.
I am going to use 1 and take the strain, I think, because we need to know what's going on here, and it feels right that there's suddenly this surge of dark energy. Perhaps the prism is reacting to the presence of this Vreen, so I will take the strain for that.
Can I also make a check on its emotional state? I mean, this is a pheromone. I'm going to use this as a species thing for Nautilans, so it's a pheromone check, pheromone detection thing. If that makes a difference too.
what do you do? What's the ruling on that one? I don't have that in front of me.
It adds a boost die when identifying a lie or detecting someone's emotional state. I'm not sure what check it's going to. That might be perception as well. But.
You can pick that up. I'll just finish off with Adam, and I'll speak to you in a second.
I close my eyes and I speak vocally so everyone else can hear, but at the same time I'm putting my will into projecting the same words out through my thoughts, through the tide of power from the goddess that flows out from me. And I say, we have returned. We seek to put him back within his prison. He should not walk this land. Will you aid us in this, or will you attempt to hinder us?
Adam, so he seems, certainly in what he's first saying here, to be wary of you, but he hasn't made up his mind yet. He does not seem to be, he seems incredibly, he's like you. He is force sensitive, as you can probably tell by him talking to you through your mind. But you get essentially wariness, but not the need to lie. But with that, the understanding that he might not tell entirely everything he knows.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
He's not scared of you, but he doesn't really trust you.
That's fair.
Not in that I automatically distrust you because you're colonists.
Yeah, that's a reasonable attitude, I feel.
He hasn't turned his head towards you, but the voice just appears in your head as if you're very close. He says, "Once the heart was strange to us. We were different, veiled in hope, carved in peace. Then you came, changed us. We have watched ever since. The shape of hearts are no longer strange to us. We sacrificed to forge it. Our sacrifice will sustain it." It starts moving its eyes around to you. It hasn't really blinked since it appeared. And it's weird because the pauses aren't really linked to what he's saying. It's just, these aren't words, they're just memories of words. "I will allow you to enter. Warning, the seal is cracked. The ash has stirred. It recalls only purpose, and purpose walks until the end. Return the heart. Bury the past." Vreen raises his hand, placing clawed fingertips on hidden sigils about 7-8 feet up the door. Stone groans and stirs. The air grows colder, and a deep seam cracks open. "It waits, not for time, but for opportunity. Do not give it one."
Thanks, Ghosty.
It basically could just be a statue, although it does move ever so slightly as it regards you. But it's not fidgeting at all, it's not blinking, it just seemingly talking to you slightly in the past. The door creaks open. It doesn't open fully. It opens with enough space for you guys to get through. So only maybe 4 or 5 feet across.
Is it wide enough for Appia to come down because she's with us at the moment? Or will she have to stay outside?
I mean, she's an insect. She can kind of squeeze through. If you so desire. It will be a squeeze.
Carter will take Appia with him, if he can. But also as the door opens, like it stands back, nods, and there's just this look of kind of, that's how that works. And he will take a moment, rather than like being like surprised or upset or anything like that, he'll just take a moment to observe the mechanism, figure out why it works and how it works, and on his little clipboard just like, actually it's one of those little flippy engineer notepads. One of his little flippy engineer notepads just makes, in blue pencil, just makes lots and lots of...
Roll me a mechanics test, just average difficulty.
Suppose, yeah, in case we come across something similar down there.
Yep.
He's absolutely, because I think diligence is one of the words I wrote down when I was writing how to play this character. 2 failures, 1 advantage. I've missed something esoteric, or he thinks there's something esoteric involved, and it's not.
Yeah.
Just to get some closure on the emotional state or whether he's telling the truth of the statue, I've rolled a triumph and 2 advantage.
Oh, sorry, thank you, mate. We got into a conversation there, didn't we? Yeah.
Do I think it's telling the truth?
Yeah. I'll give you this success, and you try and think about what you want for the triumph. Yeah, no, he is not lying, but he is not telling you everything that he knows, but nothing he says is untrue.
Okay.
I can give you an inkling about what he's not telling you, if that is what you want for the triumph.
Yeah, that sounds like good.
Something is dangerous in here. Something is very dangerous in here, and he knows that despite your good intentions, you are going to have to face this and potentially defeat it. And he hasn't mentioned it.
Right, okay.
So he's on team whoever wins, really. Just so you know, there is definitely a slight waft, I think it's probably the best way of describing pheromones, of anxiety as he looks towards you going into the tomb. There is something in there that is dangerous to you, regardless of what you do.
Okay, so he wants to return the heart, but there's going to be a scrap. Someone's getting buried, and it might be us.
You get the feeling that he doesn't care who wins the fight inside.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's not telling you, because if they win, he gets the heart. If you win and do what you tell, he gets the heart, so he doesn't.
Other important bit of information from that, though, this is not a force ghost, because you've got his pheromones. This is a living creature.
It is most definitely there.
Yeah, but it could have been a forced projection or all manner of things. But no, it is definitely something that is here.
Yeah, definitely. It has the things to detect that you would detect when you are sensing pheromones.
I think then with the doors open, who's taking point?
I think I should. Because, 1, I can see in the dark a bit better, and 2, I'm going to have a gun pointed at things.
Yep, I shall bring up the rear.
As you start stepping over the boundary, he speaks a warning. The heart is not a relic. It is a wound, sealed in sacrifice, but not healed. He looks directly towards you, Ross, as if he can read your mind, and he's seen that you can see that he's kind of basically betrayed himself in you sensing it. If you enter, the Guardians will stir. They hunt the scent of betrayal, still carried on the air. Only go if your heart is true, and you do not seek power. For if you wake what sleeps within, not even the ash will remain of who you are. So, Ross,
Yes.
he wasn't going to tell you that because he didn't really care if you got killed by the Guardians. It's really obvious to you now, knowing what he's just said. Also, from the triumph you got, it's already awake. It doesn't care if you seek power. If you've got the prism, then it tries to return it.
Okay. I will convey this to the rest of the group in case they didn't hear. Did everyone else hear that?
You all heard what the Guardian said.
It's active down there.
Yeah, pure of heart, noble of purpose, let's crack on.
Get in, replace the part, fix the problem. Don't get damaged by the power supply.
Don't get greedy.
Don't take anything that's not yours.
Despite the fact that Savriel is fully aware that he doesn't care about power, or doesn't care whether we care about power or anything along those lines, Savriel is perceptibly a little hesitant to be the first one through the door, but we'll go anyway.
The door stops moving with a grinding sigh, revealing a corridor lost to history. The stone within is carved smooth, but not sterile. Faint symbols run across the walls like they did the door, half worn by time, their meanings lost or perhaps hidden. As you step inside, the air tightens. It's not simply old, it's sealed and trapped within. Your torches and glow rods barely push back the dark. Even you, Ross, who should have a better sight of things, you can see further than everybody else, but it is kind of pushes against you almost. It feels like you're trapped here. The sound of your footsteps echo far too loud and are swallowed quickly in the hush that clings to every surface. The tomb does not welcome you.
As we step into this oppressive place, still kind of keeping pace with everybody, Riccio passes his hand over where his eyes would be, and the fine silver embroidery on the mantle that covers his eye holes begins to glitter very, very slightly as he intones, Noridia, goddess of the moons, cast luminous light down upon me. Help me to see what cannot be seen. Help me to see through illusions that which would blind me. Push my vision out. Line that which is to be seen in your radiance, my goddess. Aid your servant in healing this wound upon the earth. And I'm going to use Farsight to push my vision out to medium range. It's another dark side point, and I'm still using that as well, as my sight pushes out to medium range. Her light cannot penetrate down here, but the crystal that I can see is clearly pulsing out even more energy, and that's doing the same thing. We had this back at the manor, and Riccio didn't like it then, and he doesn't like it now. But a man in the desert will take such water as he's offered.
Who is actually holding the crystal?
Riccio, it's in my backpack, with it in a box in my bag.
Oh, you can feel it now. You can feel it. You know the slightly tainted feeling you get from it being near you? This crystal likes it that it's here.
Yeah.
Carter would like to attempt to up the gain on one of the lamps that he takes off the back of Appia, and for the image, essentially have extended to the front of it, so I'm like carrying it almost like a rifle, and at the same time, just as it turns on, it looks cool, but he sneezes, and it's a proper full muzzle sneeze as well.
Dear. So you're in a corridor, essentially. The doors open, and either side has smooth walls that have a very faint inkling of what the tomb was beforehand, a temple on them. And Adam, you can kind of see the walls physically because of the very faint, almost worn away force writing that was carved into these walls originally. The corridor carries on into the darkness. You all can see through your various different means up to about median range now, and the corridor continues on past that.
Unless we're looking at the writing or anything, I'm going to start walking further into the tomb.
I think with it being so faded, we're probably not going to get much more from it here. So yeah, it's probably further on. Mm-hmm. And with Voss not having come in this way as well, he is slightly less used to us right now than I'd hoped he would be. So I suppose what I will do is ask him, Voss, I know you did not come in through this route, but if you start to see any passages or rooms that you recognise from when you did come in here from your journey in, please let us know.
Oh, well, it looks kind of similar, but this isn't it, obviously, because we didn't have this door.
Voss, do you remember roughly, from the air, roughly where you did enter from? Is it to our left or to our right, for example?
It's really difficult in the desert. Any direction, but no more than, say, 100 yards, maybe 150 at maximum.
During your journey into here, did you see any unsafe passages, traps, things that would fall on us because they're so old? Do you have any memories of any physical dangers caused by the environment?
We did not see any tomb traps, which I think is what you're looking for. No.
Tomb traps and environmental hazard.
We burrowed in quite close to the sarcophagus chamber.
Carter's using his spotlight more to look for unusual mechanical oddity as we go through. He's less interested in helping everyone else see and more interested in making sure that people don't trip over the cobblestones and die.
About 70 yards down the corridor, as you continue in, you can see opening up, there's a blackness. It is the corridor stops and it opens up into a big room. A vast circular chamber, even more silent than the corridor, if that is possible. Here the air is dry and unmoving, steeped in the scent of age-old dust. And the ceiling arches really high above you, lost into the shadows. And in the centre of the room, runes spiral outwards like ripples in still water, etched into the ancient floor. Patterns pulsing with a dormant energy that you can see, Adam. On the walls, as you walk in, you see murals emerging from the gloom. Wonderful, terrible, and of alien design. They, again, as you get closer to them, and they are quite far away, so this will happen as you get closer, Adam, shimmer slightly as your eyes adjust. But the room is huge. It's probably 60 feet across, with a 30 feet ceiling, and the floor has got these carvings all over it, and there are these murals around the outside. Across the other side of the room, there is another opening going back into a corridor.
Attach a lantern to my bee friend and ask her to hover above me to give us better illumination.
Okay. Yeah, in this room that will be fine.
Yeah, because there's enough space. Otherwise, I'm squeezing them through. But
Okay.
yeah, like for as long as we're here, just to give us better looking.
So just a second, Mikey, how tall is this space?
The height, probably about 30 feet up.
Okay. I'm only thinking because the original door was like, the way to get into this place was above humanoid height. So I'm just wondering if the entire place is scaled up.
No, the corridor as it goes through is more normal in height. There was kind of a vestibule that led almost immediately into a corridor.
Okay.
I'd say the corridor you came back through is probably about 10 feet high, maybe about 6-7 feet wide.
Okay. So we can get a sense that whatever's in here is probably our height, or...
Yeah.
Not as cyclopean as the doors might suggest.
Yeah. So you're standing at the entrance to this big room, and the Captain Heek's arranged for a spotlight almost for you. Where do you go? What do you do?
Appia has gone in, hasn't she? And has flown in and up.
Yes, Carter would step forward and then attach to light and then use his little pheromone lure. He's keeping more of an eye, obviously, on Appia as it goes up, as we get the big cutscene reveal as to all of the creepy murals and all the rest of it.
Then, yeah, well, Rakea will be waiting for either Savriel or Koro to go in first, and will be coming in kind of in the middle of the pack, I think. My X-Vision is still kind of a bit expanded to hopefully pick up on anything that other people are missing.
I say arguably first because Captain already has, but otherwise, yeah, the Captain Savriel is going first.
Okay. You step into the room. The first thing you sense is not seeing the murals or anything like that, but is an emotional weight to this room. Like there is something heavy here. You can sense, even without seeing them, that these murals were created through intense emotional pressure and weight, because you feel small. You feel kind of very much like Zaphod Beeblebrox in the center of the universe. This is a room with gravitas. As you walk in, basically, you've been feeling kind of a bit repressed as to how you feel because of the confined space and how the etchings kind of emanate this kind of repressive kind of feeling to it. But as you walk into this room, it hits you, kind of an oppressive emotional weight that kind of pushes down on you. You walk in, and to the right of you, you see murals from the door spanning all the way around the room. Where do you go, Ross?
I suppose I'm going to look towards more... Because we did say there was an entrance on another exit on the other side of this.
That's right,
big room.
across from you.
If there's no other obstacles in the room, then I'm going to focus my sights on that at the moment, while the group gets a sense of maybe the murals and things. I'm going to focus on the main door, the door on the other end.
Everybody roll a discipline check. Easy check. 1 dice.
Is it to do with fear, or is it to do with...
You can get whatever bonus you like if it's to do with fear.
Then it is a difficulty 0 check for me.
Then you pass automatically.
Hey!
2 success for me.
Okay.
Which makes me suspicious.
A wash.
Okay.
1 failure and 2 advantage for me.
Okay. The oppressive weight of this room, those of you that have failed, until otherwise, you're going to be carrying a setback dice from the kind of emotional kind of heaviness of the area. With your advantages, I'm just trying to wonder what you could do. Originally, when I suggested that that advantages might be able to remove these, and my suggestion for the original concept was 2 advantages on your dice will also remove a setback dice from this ongoing thing. So if you, Lou, want to use your advantages to kind of wash it away, you maybe get a feeling of this kind of emotional impression, shake your head, get your bearings again and push it down, then I'm quite happy for you not to have that setback dice with those advantages.
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, for a brief moment.
Yeah.
Kuro's eyes go flat, teeth come out, and then there's just a very physical shudder and pulling herself together and okay, let's crack on.
You're still feeling it, but you're a professional. It's not affecting you. Things happen. It's fine. Ed, you feel small in this place. You feel kind of oppressed in here. You're going to be a little bit distracted by the feeling of the tomb for a while.
He grits his teeth.
And they are magnificent teeth.
They are.
Yeah. You all walk in?
Yeah.
Okay. This is clearly not colonist work. I mean, I could ask you to roll it, but it's kind of obvious now that this is green craftsmanship. And it is beautiful. It is incredibly well done. Something that Captain Heek, you probably wouldn't imagine they could do this, because from experiences with them previously, they have been a very simple people who don't really go into art or anything like that. They're barely sentient from what people have thought. You have to be very respectful for them when they'll be respectful for you, but sweeping pieces of beautiful art is not something you expect from them. And the first thing you notice to the right of you is a starship, sleek, majestic, gliding through the void, its hull gleaming, etched with starlight. And you can see that, Adam, in the glow of because you can see this because the wall is there. You know, you can sense these patterns. It's serene and it's just drifting through the cosmos. And as you move your eye around, the next mural shows the same starship, but disaster. A colossal force without form or name, just a gouge in the mural. A gouge intentionally there, essentially, to look like an impact, strikes at the ship. And the mural has been fractured, as if breaking the fourth wall almost, with angular violent strokes carved through the serenity from the previous thing. The ship breaks apart, spiraling downwards in a trail of fire as you look through the murals. Descent is not just from the sky, but from purpose and from their meaning. There is a humongous crash on the next mural where the ship shatters, and a final panel is the quietest and perhaps the most haunting, with the ship lying broken in a crater, smoke curling into the sky. And above it, on the hill, the land scorched and dead, a figure watches. So that's all the way around. That's the first. It shows what I'm not going to ask you to roll, but the crash of the horizon. It looks stylized. From your history, the horizon was not a sleek, beautiful ship. It was a colony ship. It was big and bulky. But it is very clearly the horizon that crashed that they're trying to show, just stylized.
I was going to ask that because I wasn't sure whether it was the horizon or whether it was another vessel that might have been being depicted. But it is everything that I can detect from these pictograms is telling me that this is the horizon.
Yeah, you especially can feel the sense of it, and this is definitely the ship that came from the skies, even though it is a stylized version of it, is most definitely the story of your landing here.
Okay, this is remarkable. Look, this here shows the horizon, and then an impact against something. That is what... But that is not quite how we heard the story. All the books, the legends from our landing was that systems had begun to fail and we had, rather than... That is right, isn't it? It was, the stories aren't that we had an impact on something, it was just something went wrong and we forced a crash, right?
Yeah, I mean, there are people who think that there was pushed down into the... But they're conspiracy theorists, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, when it shows an impact, that is not the stories that I was taught. That is not what our history teaches us. Our histories teach us that there was a failure of some mechanical form rather than a strike of such great violence. But this is the horizon. It is not another vessel as I first thought it may be. I can feel the intent and the age of these murals, the age of the story, marries up with that of our arrival upon this world, at a time when it seems therein were far cry from the poor souls we see now, barely more than beasts. Has our arrival here driven them into some form of lapse? And look, who is this figure who watches? Does it come from the vessel, or is it watching the impact? It is not Vreen, I don't think, but I feel the power of this figure, the intention.
Anybody want to give me a xenobiology roll? I'm quite happy to give you more information.
I'll risk a xenology. I don't have it, but I've got a decent intelligence.
Yeah, it is going to be a hard check, I'm afraid.
I'm going to flip a light side point then, if that's okay. We've got a few.
I'm also going to try it, just to see what happens.
Likewise.
So 3 purple for a hard check. I remove setbacks, not that I think there are any, but...
No, there are no setbacks on this one.
2 successes for me.
Complete wash for me, which is not surprising.
So 2 successes and 1 crab advantage.
two things that you're going to learn, and you can both learn this, and I'm going to separate out for one or the other. Firstly, the shapeless form that the horizon crashes into. From your successes, you feel that even though this is a gouge into the mural, it hints of something living, something organic. And you can tell that the way that they have done this kind of suggests a creature, almost. But anything that would have damaged the ship would have been huge.
I'm presuming that we don't know about Purgils.
I mean, there are rumours of giant creatures that swim around, but you won't know specific things about them.
There'll be stories and fairy tales. There will be.
Yeah, totally. Like the angels of blah, 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 or something like that. In the same way that any crypto creature or anything like that exists. They're not necessarily thought to exist, but, it's like Nessie.
Yeah. Here be dragons.
Oh, and the other thing, the figure is unmistakably human.
Does it look like the figure is watching the crash, or is it like the figure has walked from the crash?
Both. It looks like the figure has walked away from the crash, turned around, and then set to observe it.
Are there any marks on the figure that would make me think that they are somehow connected to the establishment of today? Or do they bear an unusual heraldry or sigil that...
He is a hooded figure in a robe. It is difficult to tell. He has kind of a circlet. Not too ornate, but a circlet just above where you can see the hood. Bearded, very tall.
So like possibly a king or a hermit. Or
looking like
wizard.
a king in a robe. Yeah.
Regal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for my advantage.
Yes.
And I appreciate that this might be pushing it a little bit, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Could Carter have brought some rudimentary surveying equipment so he can take some images of where they are? Or is that pushing it too far?
Well, on the Aurora, it being an archaeology ship, there's probably the equivalent of lithographs or cameras or something like that. Yeah. So
it wouldn't be unusual for him to have something like that because, there's a leak here. I need more equipment.
Your advantage is that you picked up all that stuff from the Aurora. So you're a bit weighed down.
I took it off Appier so they could fly up.
Yeah, cool.
So I have it on me now. Normally it would be on Appier. One moment. I want to record this. Can someone hold this? No one will believe us otherwise. And I just set up the devices.
Yep, I hold the gear so that Koro and Savriel can keep their weapons hot and their eyes open.
All right, and with that revelation that the Horizon not necessarily landed here through some sort of issue with the flight plan, but perhaps was forced here by something darker and alive, I'm going to say we're going to call it there for the day, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much to my players for joining me on this, and we will delve deeper into the temple/tomb in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks for listening.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.camp. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.